Live. And today we are shining a light on a profession that often gets glamorized but rarely gets the wellness spotlight. We're talking about hairstylists. Now, I'm not a stylist myself, but I've watched them hustle hard, stand long hours, carry emotional weight, and still show up with love and precision. This episode is all about the cost. How stylists can protect their bodies, their minds, and their futures while doing what they love. So let's get into it.
Today's panelist is Sade, Tasha, and of course me, Yurimi Yahoo. And today we have a stylist by the name of Tasha. Um, Speaking to the hours, right? Because that's one thing working for a company. You work so many hours, then you hit a probation period, then you eligible for 401k, life insurance, and stuff like that. Given the hours you work, how does health insurance, the wear and tear, just the everyday business, you know, what does that look like for an entrepreneur that owns a salon? That was a crazy question.
The
Start
hours are
off
definitely
with
long. I mean, yeah, because I can answer all of them, but it would probably be better if you just sum it up to, just ask me what you want to know
Ans-
because the
Answer it the
hours
way
are
you want to answer
definitely
it. How about
long,
that? Go
but
ahead,
it just
answer it the way you
depends
want to answer it.
on. Okay, all right,
Mhm.
it just depends on your status and where you are. Um, for me, in the beginning, my hours were very, very long because I had no clients. So, in order for you to build up clients, you have to put in that time. Um, have that time in the salon so that the clients can get to know you, build trust, to trust you with their hair. So, that's number one. Um, what was another question?
How
yeah,
does social media? I'm sorry. Go ahead, show that.
I'll provide a little bit of context for the initial question because I feel like when you think about a hairstylist or when hairstylists start their position, their profession, and they're going through beauty school, there's not a lot of conversation about uh, future planning. You know what I mean? Like what retirement looks like for a person who's a stylist, a person who's an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So can you speak a little bit of like to that? Um, do you feel like there is room for stylists to have open conversations about what retirement looks like for you? How does financial planning work in a job where the role is the hustle?
There's not a lot of conversation about that, especially when I started. I think now, being as though that the world has changed a lot. A lot is on social media. Things that other people are doing that you can learn from. And it doesn't matter which profession you choose to be in or that you're in. They're teaching you different ways, different strategies that you can prepare for the future. For stylists, I think that in the beginning when I started, um, st- being a stylist wasn't necessarily one of those jobs or careers that you were looking at to become like something that was permanent. It was more so something that you can do on the side, along with a full-time job doing something else or going to school. Nowadays, where we've learned that you can definitely if it's your passion, you can definitely put more time into it, to make it your career. What I did, um, preparing for the future would definitely come with someone who has been in the game for a long time, um, to bring that knowledge to you, because that's not something that's talked about amongst stylists on a daily basis. Because, like you said, it's a hustle. You're not necessarily thinking about your future. You're thinking about getting this money now. But I can say that it would definitely be beneficial for you to think about those times where something may happen and you have to call off out of the salon. You may have to reschedule those clients and you cannot make it for whatever reason. Excuse me. You pull a muscle, anything can happen, and we're not prepared because of course we're not covered under those. You get those paid days off and stuff like that on regular jobs. We're not covered when it comes to that. So what I would suggest is, you have to put money aside. You can do that. There's something that I definitely know about that is very, very beneficial. Is a company called Aflac. Um, they cover you on the days if something, for instance, if something happened to you. It's basically like an insurance to cover your body, your hands, whatever you're using for your professional, as an independent worker. They'll cover you on the days that you may not be able to make it into the job, period, whether it's being in the salon or anything that you're doing where you're an independent contractor or you're in the service, or business for yourself. That company is huge. There may be other companies out there, but that's the only one that I know of. But starting off, worrying about retirement and things like that was nowhere in the picture. And I regret that because I spent a lot of my time, a lot of my days in a salon working and making, good amounts of money. But the question is, what do I have set aside for my future if I can't do this tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the answer would be not a lot because I didn't prepare myself, all of
Do
those
you think
years.
do you think like the way moving forward now, like um just because like with politics and how health insurance is changing so much for people, especially entrepreneurs, change it, go the corporate route in the sense of the LLC route where you could just treat yourself as an employee and pay yourself and do those avenues. You could set up IRAs and stuff like that, retirement accounts, and your own
Yeah.
version of a 401k where you pay yourself and um put so much away for yourself and let the stock market do what it do. You know what I mean? And also buy healthcare that way. So like for instance, like what does a person like even with like a woman with kids? Because like for the most part, all the hairstylists are women. And I'm pretty sure they are family oriented. Like especially they got
Most.
kids going to school.
Most.
They got kids that gotta have shots and stuff like that. They got kids that gotta have
Hmm.
be up to date with their doctor's appointments. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't you
Hmm.
think going a corporate
Right.
route would be the way to a certain degree? How does that look?
No, I would definitely agree with that. But the thing is the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah,
any hairstylist, especially somebody who have a regular clientele and somebody who does this full time, as a full
yeah,
time career, they would definitely benefit from that. But the thing is the lack of knowledge that we have when it comes to things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We can put money aside, you know forever, but if we are putting our money into things that are going to allow us to add on to what we put away, then that'll definitely be better for us. So we would need somebody to just come in and give us that intel. That in
yeah.
itself, in my opinion, is a business. Somebody goes
Absolutely.
around to
Yeah.
different salons and offer this information, because I can tell 9 times out of 10 people that you come in contact with will definitely I'll say people who are serious about the profession, they'll definitely be interested and they will pay for that
Yeah, that
knowledge,
yeah.
definitely.
You know what? Because it's easy for us to sit here
But
and, as people that's not in the profession that you're in and say, "Hey, won't you take a business class?" You know what I'm
right.
saying? Small business class. And like to your
Mm-hmm.
point, like when you got clientele, like you got to be there. Like depending on where you are, you may have to pay for your booth rent. You know what I'm saying? Or just like you just can't afford to take time off because not just the booth rent you got to make weekly or monthly, whatever your setup is. You also got outside
Your
bills
quota.
outside of that, and
Hmm.
you already got stuff that you got to pay out of pocket
Right.
because
Exactly.
you're not you like you said, the knowledge of doing the LLC and then being able to take the different avenues when it comes to paying yourself and setting up insurance
Mm-hmm.
for yourself because you know you're in the hustle, like you said. I think
Right.
what you just brought up was a great idea. Like somebody with the knowledge going to salons and teaching the knowledge, giving everybody the information. Because even in a group setting, when you got a salon full of beauticians in there, you know, we could put our money together and have this person come do 2 presentations and stuff like that, and even give a test at the end. And then not just that, we go ahead and get the LLCs or operate under my LLC, or not even just the people that, I mean, even as the business owners, right? Not necessarily the people that's
Mm-hmm.
renting the chairs, as the business owner,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? You could take what you get from them chair wise or booth wise and come up with some type of health plan, because it is some insurance companies that take you guys on. The rates might be a certain type of
Right.
way, but at the end of the day, even that is a tax write-off, because in the other side of that is not real dangerous. You're doing hair now. Of course, you're gonna get carpal tunnel, and it ain't like somebody up on the ladder or up in the air on the lift. Insurance gonna be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
They might say, "Hey, we'll give you this rate, but you gotta have mandatory drug testing." You know what I mean? It's trade-offs to get
Mm-hmm.
cheaper rates, or you go in with another salon. Y'all got a group of owners. Y'all go in, and now instead of just 7 of y'all, you got 80 people coming in, and then y'all come in at a better rate. You know what I mean? On the networking tip. You know what I'm saying? So it is stuff out there, but nobody is putting this
The issue
together.
is the gap. The issue
Yeah,
is the gap.
because
The barrier is the knowledge about financial literacy and how to make your money work for you. That's where the gap
Exactly.
lies. Yeah.
Exactly.
I never really thought about it. The other side of it, the flip side of it is the hustle side, where you just paying for the building or whatever. You got your license on the wall, but you're not operating like a business. However, you're legal, but you're not operating like a business. I guess the upside
Right.
to that is when the things are good, all the money coming in, you're able to buy a bunch of stuff, pocket a lot of money, say you made whatever you made. But the downside of it is when you start thinking about retirement, and then or you get injured. You know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
somebody hurt themselves, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna have insurance. You know what I'm saying? But somebody hurt themselves in the store, lawsuits, just all kinds of insurance that nowadays
Right.
that you need. So I think that is something that you know something that we gotta really dive deep in and really look into that, because you all love one of
Right.
mine, and that's important. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Right.
From
And
the
I think
research I
I
seen,
think that I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I think that um COVID really like awakened a lot of these um these topics in people who are business owners or entrepreneurs, or people who just work through contract, because before COVID, nobody really thought about it as much as now, and
yeah.
there's so much information out there now
Mm-hmm.
because of it.
Yeah. That's definitely true. That's definitely true.
So like, all right, like being how was it for you, right? Working under somebody, when you first got started and transitioning to your own shop. What were some of the challenges around even healthcare, insurance? Like, does these conversations ever come up as being like the head of your salon versus working under somebody? In any situation when you was under somebody or when you transitioned to where you are now, has this ever came up like with somebody working under you
Yeah,
or while you was working for somebody?
it
Are there
more
any horror
so
stories?
came up. Well, I mean, well, I'll answer the first question. We as stylists, we always like, if we come across some type of information that we feel like is beneficial to everybody in the salon, we've always shared it with each other. So this was working and having my own salon, as a business with business partners, um was the first time that I really thought about having some type of backup plan if this didn't work, or if I got hurt, I couldn't
Yeah.
work the carpal tunnel, like I said, pulled muscles, any type of issues, the issues that I'm dealing with now, like just having I have arthritis now, I have carpal tunnel now. I was just down for a whole week nurse, so
I
I was
think,
down for an entire week
yeah.
because of it. So it was hard. It was really, really hard. Just getting that week back. Um So yeah, we definitely talk about that amongst each other in a salon and give as much information that we
Yeah.
can. But I don't think that the knowledge is potent enough to um
We can't hear you.
Yeah, I think your sound cut out for a second, Mom. She can't hear us either.
Yeah. I think, until she come back in, I think the route to go, just in general, is to really think about, you know, going corporate in a sense, because like really transitioning to the LLC and operating like a business, not saying it's not a business, but when it comes to insurance and stuff, because you got to think about it. We think about it like us really getting into salons and barbershops and stuff like that as a main hustle is fairly a new thing. So we don't know what it looked like to be in our 70s doing hair and stuff like that, or cutting hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like moving forward, I think this is the way we need to start looking at it. You know what I mean? Because like Tasha
Yeah.
said, ain't no workers comp. You know
No.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't no, you know what I'm saying? So like I really we didn't hear like the last 3 minutes of what you said, by the way, it says. But like
Yeah. But I think the gist was she had been out
sorry,
for a week,
it's okay.
sorry.
Shout out to
Okay,
Unfiltered
yes.
Truth.
I was out for a week and
Mhm.
Yeah, that internet need workers comp.
Yeah, you need to go ahead and get
sorry,
some
Sade,
insurance
do
on
me a favor. I apologize.
Sorry.
Do me a favor. Text your brother and have him stop contacting me, please.
All right. Tell him to cease contact with me. Got it.
Yo,
I
that's
got you.
crazy. Tasha, so all right, let's move it the
Can y'all
conversation a
hear
little
me?
bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's move it.
can I, if you don't mind,
Go
if I
ahead,
Can you
don't
hear
Tasha.
me now?
I think that it was such a really interesting concept that you brought up with going corporate, thinking about how to run a salon effectively, not only from that insurance retirement aspect, but if you think about when you go to work, your job has team building exercises, there's preventative care, there's things that they expose you to so that the hazards of the job are not as prevalent. So, for example, you were saying you were out with carpal tunnel arthritis, muscle soreness. When you operate your salon like a corporation, there's health and wellness that you could do. There's whether it's yoga, stretching, incorporating like standing pads so people have less stress on their backs and their knees and it's just like when you start to think about it as a corporation and less of like you think about it for the future, then those are some of the things
Right.
that you could incorporate in order to make your business last longer and keep your stylist happier and healthier.
And I mean, yeah, that's definitely something that could be considered. I think the challenges that will come along with that is just running a salon, being a stylist is time consuming in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think
Yeah.
about after you leave the salon, after working all of those hours that you work, you still have to go home and you have to
Mm-hmm.
tend to a house. So the only thing that I can say is we would definitely have to incorporate that on a time we probably wouldn't be in the salon, and then have everybody schedule be able to match up to that.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be the challenges when it comes to that. But
That's
that
true.
is definitely a great idea, and we have actually done that before. We would go to the salon maybe an hour and a half before, and go to like a school at the track and run around the track and do little stuff like that. But it just a lot of things fall off because a lot of people's schedules are different in
Yeah.
that environment.
The
Everybody
And
is
nature
not
then
of
there
the
at the same time
and when
because
you're
everybody's
person
independent.
doing hair, like you're on everybody else's schedule. So everybody trying to schedule that's
Hmm.
when it's convenient for them, when they get off of work, when the kids get out of school, or Saturday when they off. Like one thing I noticed that my friend Sean, who's has a barbershop, you know, you'll be in the barbershop just walking in. I used to go on Thursday when I had hair. And
Mhm.
I would be in there for hours. I mean, hours at a time. And it's not like he board jobbing, he cutting hair and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
But you'll be in
Mhm.
there for hours. And I think I went to see Sean probably like a year or two ago, just sitting there. I got a bald head, whatever, just to go see him, whatever, because I had started cutting my own hair. And he incorporated in appointments. Do you
Mhm.
think appointments give you better control over your day to day? Or you know what
It,
I mean? Or it's like, you know, because you could say, hey, this is like a $500 day, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And that's where I'm a cap at. You know what I mean?
well, it's both. Because a lot of times you can definitely be more aware of how much you're gonna make in a day. But also when you're scheduling appointments, we try to allot the a right amount of time for each client. But then you never know what's going on in somebody else's life. So somebody
Right.
could be they could be late. Somebody could come in there and their hair they done went to somebody else. Now their hair is all jacked up. So now you have to spend extra time on their hair, which causes their appointment to run into the next person's appointment. So all of that is still unpredictable. But
Yeah.
when you have a clientele that is like a regular y'all have a regular relationship, then both of you already know that sometimes you may not get in a chair as soon as you get there. But as long as, in my opinion, as long as the client see that the stylist is working on somebody else and they not bull crapping around, like sitting around talking or sitting down eating or, doing
Mhm.
things that's not related to what they supposed to be there for, then they really don't have an issue. Some people may have other appointments, that
Yeah.
it may cause a problem if you're running late. So in that instance, that's why we always try to communicate with the client and say, okay, well, I'm running behind. I may be 15 minutes behind schedule, just to let you know, give you a heads up. And the clients do the same thing as well. I had an appointment before my hair appointment. I'm running like 15 minutes behind. Is that okay? So it's just it definitely helps. Um, as far as in keeping track of the amount of money that you make, and also scheduling a nice amount of people in those slots. But it's always better to communicate when you know that you're not going to get to the client that's coming in the door immediately, because everybody appreciates that.
When you
Mhm.
brought up eating and stuff like that, how do you? Because like for instance, right, you in there standing on your feet all day. Like, how does lunch break look for beauticians? Because like you said, somebody could be running late and all these things could be happening, and then they come in there and you eat.
Everybody is different. For me, I rarely take a lunch break. I don't ever schedule a lunch break in my day, and then my clients get on me all the time. It's not something that I would suggest to anybody. But I like to just, if I sit down and I eat something, I'm ready to go to sleep. So that does not work for me. For
Yeah,
me, I'll have my water, I'll have my drinks, I'll have my little snacks, try to have like snacks that are gonna fill me up.
Mhm.
Not anything sugary that's gonna, I'll have my little coffee if I needed to give me that extra push that I need to get through the day. But I rarely schedule lunch breaks. But when I do, I appreciate them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just going.
It's
Yeah. And
possible. It's just my schedule don't allow for my clients,
yeah. I
and they
guess
get
you
on
plan it.
me, but they don't. What I'm saying, they need to get in. But
Yeah,
right.
it comes with
because
the
everybody to
territory. So
try to
I
get in and out of there. But your health is
exactly
important and eating is important.
very
You know what I mean? Like
very
cars don't run on
very
air. You know what I mean? And
right
your
that and
body, you have to
exactly
eat. You know what I
exactly
mean?
and
Because
that's
like you said,
exactly.
you got because typically the majority of stylists, 99.9% of them are women, and they
Yeah.
typically have families. So like you need
Mhm.
strength to go home and tend to that family, especially if you got young
Mhm.
kids, like you said. And I think the appointment, I guess if you're trying to rake everything in, you just everybody just walk-ins, you know what I'm saying? But appointments give you more structure. You could kind
Definitely.
of give yourself a half an hour break to eat. Like I got from 12 to 1, I should be done this person here by 11:30. So by 12, when such come in, they give me time to eat and all this, that, and the third, and just sit down for a second. Like
Yeah.
back to
And
kind of
for
sort of
me, I mean, because it sounds good, and I would definitely appreciate if my day ran like that. But the thing
But
is, my day don't run like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and
yeah,
like my clients will run through 12, and because a lot of a lot of stylists, they do the hair and they make sure that people hair look neat. But I am sort of, I don't want to put labels on it, but I'm sort of a perfectionist. Everybody that come through in my chair, I want to make sure that they feel like they're the first client that came through the door. I don't want
yeah,
to rush. I don't rush on nobody's head. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's why I make sure that I have these things on my station to make sure that I'm full enough. No, I eat, but if I have a day where it's like back to back to back to back, I'm gonna rely on my protein and my bananas and my those things that I'll have on my station, because I know that I'm gonna need that for fuel, because I'm not gonna have a time to sit down and really enjoy my meal. And I've never been the type person to just go in there and scoff something down and then come back. I That's just not me. So,
Yeah.
but for me, that's why I said it's different. I mean, I have stylists that's in the shop that they definitely take their break, and it's in between clients, whenever they can get it in, you know. But I'll have food delivered to me, and the food will be there until I'm done. So instead of
Because you
my
just
food
don't
getting
have time to
cold,
get to it.
yeah, instead of my food getting
Yeah.
cold, I'll just eat when I'm done.
Yeah. All right. So I'm now thinking about like what you have to deal with on a daily basis. It sounds super stressful, but what do you feel like are more stressors for you? Your clients, the people that you work with, the stylists, or what you have to deal with when you get home? Like, what do you feel like makes your day like the most stressful?
There's pros and cons to both, but I think my real
Yeah.
job starts when I get home. I
Mm.
am at peace when I am at work. Although my day is super super um I don't want to say chaotic. I would say super super like fast paced, and I'm working constantly on people's heads, but the conversations that I have with my clients, the rapport that I build with my clients, I never feel like I'm at work. I feel like this is an extended family. Like every client that I have, even new clients, I'm not a really really open person that just like to talk to everybody. But for some reason, when my clients get in my chair, even new clients, it just seems like they just feel like this is a space to release, or just whatever. And I try to give them
Yeah.
whatever I can give at that moment. Um, but when you get at home, I am the mom, I am the cook, I am the nurse, I am the referee, I am I'm the housekeeper. I have so many hats at home that without the help of my older children, I probably have lost my mind by now. But it's
Mm-hmm.
pros and cons to both. But when I get home, I definitely feel that that's my sanctuary. I definitely enjoy the embraced, the way my kids embrace me, the love that I feel. So that it takes the edge off. If I can't say that I've ever had a bad day at the salon, but if you run into somebody that y'all may disagree on, whatever, it definitely takes all of that away once you walk through that door and you're greeted, in a manner in which your kids greet you. There's nothing that will ever replace that.
do you think that how does the long hours affect your personal life as in relationship?
Oof. Yeah.
I mean,
I know a lot of single hairstylists.
well, I mean, it comes with the territory. So if you have these conversations in the beginning and set those expectations, or talk through those expectations, you shouldn't expect something that I can't give you. Unless you plan, this is what I say, unless you can pay my bills, I have to work. you know i I'm gonna have to get you in when I can fit you in. And if that's okay with you, then that's okay with you. But I'm gonna try my best. Sometimes I'm tired, so you may have to do a little of the work. you know. But if this is something that we're building together, we're just gonna have to come meet at a common ground and find some understanding, because I'm not the type of person that you just call up and say, okay, well, I'm gonna meet you here and we're gonna do. I can't do that, because
Right.
either it's gonna be my work schedule that's not gonna be okay with it, or it's gonna be my children that's not gonna be okay with it. So, I try my best to make sure that if we can't get out and do something, then as long as we're in each other's presence, we can try to make that work. But it's hard. It is hard. It is really, really hard.
All right. I want to welcome Sean to the panel. Welcome
Hey,
Sean to the
Sean.
panel.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are
This is my
you?
big brother Sean.
All
This is my
right.
sister Tasha and my niece Sade. This is
How
my
y'all
big
doing?
brother Sean. When
Hi.
I
All right.
had hair, he used to cut my hair. Now, Sean Barbershop, West Baltimore, probably one of the best barbershops in Baltimore City. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You're going to get entertained. You're going to buy fireworks. You're going to get some knockoff clothes. It's all kind of DVDs when people used to sell DVDs, good
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Sean, welcome to the panel. Initially, we was talking about, you know, how does working in this industry, how do you prepare for retirement, and or how do you provide yourself with health insurance, being an entrepreneur?
You say, how do we provide ourselves with health insurance?
Yeah. What's the avenues you take?
Hmm.
Oh, I got the free insurance, but at first I had the
Sure.
one that you had to pay for. At first I had the one that you had to pay for, the personal insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this political climate with like what they call the nanny state handouts and just limits and stuff like that and all the different qualifications you got to have affects your business when it comes to healthcare?
No, not really.
What do you think about retirement, 401ks and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I gotta get into that. That's something that we gotta get into.
Tasha brought up the fact that this about the knowledge base, right? And even salons and barbershops pulling their resources together and having somebody come and do seminars there and talk about our IRAs and stuff like that, setting up
Hmm.
brokerage accounts, um, and setting up LLCs where they treat themselves like employees and pay themselves and set up insurance and um set up in health insurance as a group, because when you come in numbers, the plan is lower because you got more people paying into it. So the cheaper it is for the people to be a part of it, pulling resources. And also, like even with retirement, it works the same way for a brokerage company to invest your money and set up a 401k so guys can have something to fall back on. Um, I guess it's a little different for you guys because, like, for the most part, Sean, you the only one in your barbershop, right?
Yeah, now I am.
Yeah. All right. Fucking Sean on the podcast. That's a whole nother story. But all right, so um now I was talking about earlier before you jumped on, we was talking about like just the structure, right? And how, you know, how you can't really have no time for yourself, right? Especially when you just have walk-ins. Sean, I used to be in your barbershop, and not just me, everybody being there for hours. And it wasn't because you cut hair slow, it's because, everybody wanted to get their hair cut there. And recently, maybe I ain't gonna say real recently, but was like 2 years ago since I've been down there, and I came and got a bald head. And you incorporate appointments.
Right.
And did the appointments give you more time for yourself and give yourself more structure on your day to
Yes.
day when it came to after the barbershop?
Yes. Yes. When you do appointments, you know when you're gonna be cutting and when you're not gonna be cutting, so you can plan your day.
Yeah. So how hard is it to stick to that schedule?
It's not hard because most of my clients they wanted me to start doing appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see a lot
It
of
works out
stylists
for
they
everybody.
against appointments.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it's
guess so you can get
definitely
the walk-in
beneficial to
money.
everybody.
Yeah, because somebody told me, they said if you start doing appointments, you will cut less and make more. I didn't understand how it worked until I
Mm,
did it. He said
Hmm.
yeah.
because some people gonna leave, the people that appreciate you gonna stay, and you can raise your prices, and you're gonna make more. For the people that
Yeah.
left, you still gonna make the money because you raised your prices. So when I was working all day long, closing at 7 or 8, I got $300. Now I could close at 5, I got 500.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you not even getting a chance to eat, Doug. And then you
Yeah,
go to eat and a motherfucker roll their eyes.
yep,
Figures.
Yes.
But you taking time for
Yes.
yourself.
yep.
Yes. Now
All
they're
right.
coming at you.
I got a question. I got a question for both of y'all. Um, do y'all feel like just being a barber, being a beautician, right? You're in there, you're dealing with people, and people come in there with different type of problems. Sean, remember I used to drink. Sean used to be making fun of me, right? I used to have a miniature. I'd be like this. Whoop.
Before you get your hair cut,
Yeah.
oh,
So how many just being that person, because we open up to the person that's doing our hair, cutting our hair. How many lives or relationships you think you saved, you know what I'm saying? Just talking to people, giving them advice. You know what I'm saying?
Many, a many. Sometimes I be cutting somebody's hair, I get to cracking jokes and talking shit, and they be like, "Man, I was in a bad mood before I came in here. You got me in another state of mind right
Hmm.
now."
Yeah.
hairstylists be therapists. Like
Hmm.
honestly, for
Yeah,
real.
back in the days,
Yeah, I
we was
definitely,
the
yeah.
therapists, we was the surgeons,
Mm-hmm.
barbers. We was all that. We used to cut hair with seashells
That's the
Wow.
with the
history.
little piranha teeth.
That's the history lesson for y'all.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
mommy,
Damn,
you
I
We
want
ain't
to
was
know
the
that.
speak?
surgeons, the social workers, the counselors, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I ain't know you cut hair with seashells. Y'all was some creative motherfuckers.
Yeah, with
I
the
had to go,
piranha
I had to
teeth,
go
with the
Google that.
piranha
I
Yeah,
gotta
teeth.
see
that's
that.
gangster.
That is gangster.
Yeah.
So,
What
I
When
else
you
you
mean,
got?
study the book, that's what it teach you, the history of it, before it teach you how to cut.
Okay.
the history of being a barber. It's true.
Any
I remember reading a book about how barbers used to be like the first surgeons back in the like when cities was first founded. And that was interesting to me.
That's definitely interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
But that makes because back in the day, like now, we just got one occupation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like back in the day, people was all kinds of different things, more than one thing because you had to. You know what I
You
mean?
definitely did. You definitely did.
Do you? Hey, Sean, watch Tasha. I think. Hold on, hold on. Let me bring Tasha back. But do you think um like going corporate in the sense of like LLCs and stuff like that, and paying yourself, treating yourself like an employee, so you could establish at least a retirement plan. You know what I'm saying? You think that's the way to go? Just to rewind it a
Oh
little bit,
yeah,
because I didn't get to ask you this.
oh yeah. Because no one is gonna cut forever
Yeah.
or do half forever. Because as long as we not taking lunch break, we messing our legs up, our
Hmm.
backs up, all that stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and and and,
A lot of
and
wear
that's
and
the
tear on the
thing.
body.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a
Tasha, you
lot.
didn't get to answer the last question too. The question
Yeah, I
was,
apologize.
it's okay. Being a beautician or a barber, like how many relationships or lives you may have that you think you saved over the years, but people confiding in you in a chair.
I can't even answer that question. It's so, like I said, I have been blessed to have, when I started doing hair at 15, but I started working in the salon in 2013. Started
All right.
Oh, it's I apologize, y'all. That's people
Okay.
trying to call me. I don't know what they want, but
We
um
already fixed that.
Yeah, it's all right.
Go ahead, mom.
yeah.
Yeah, we gonna have to get that internet, some health insurance. Hit it on the open exchange.
Put that on the abstract, please.
Y'all already know my
Every time you
attitude
come
that
back,
we
your phone
already
this
know.
way, that way. Yeah, is that King? Yo, like where you at?
Sorry.
Yo,
All right.
like
All right. So okay. So so getting in the salon, I started as a shampoo tech. Had zero clients, no clientele. But was there every day from open until close, until people felt comfortable enough with me to start letting me do their hair. Now having my own salon, partner up with two other people, like I have an overflow of clientele. And I can say each and every person that I come in contact with on a daily basis, we have our own relationship. They confide in me, I confide in them, about different things. So I definitely, I can say all of my clients, every last one of my clients, we have a relationship. The relationships are just different, but my clientele is like my extended family, honestly.
What are some of the funniest moments anybody can answer?
Oh my god.
Being in the
That's what I want to
barbershop,
hear.
being a
I want to hear the
beautician.
crazy
Yeah.
stories.
Sean, I know Sean got him.
Go ahead. You
The worst
share
thing
why
in
I
the
think, Sean.
barbershop.
Yo.
Yeah, we had some moments.
Anything stick out to you
Yo,
particularly?
We're
all right.
always laughing. That's
Let
always
me
the
tell some
moment.
of them. Yo, Sean
Go
is a
ahead.
fucking comedian, yo. He chilling right now. Sean is a comedian. One day we just sitting there, yo. Sean goes in the drawer and pull a gun out, a cap gun, and shoot a nigga in the chest. I forgot what was going on. Sean shot the cap gun at the dude. And, like he just cracked jokes on everybody. One day we in there, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Brown, because the dude like Bobby Brown. Like, yo,
They just walk
Sean,
out the doors just so I won't say nothing about them. They just walk out.
yo,
Now you
Sean
can go
cracked
in and
jokes.
leave. I ain't gonna say nothing about you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when y'all talk about family environments and stuff like that, just like, yo, like, and it can depend. It depends if you come in, like you come in Sean barbershop when it ain't your day. Sean will look at his watch, she look at whatever to let you know, like you not there. It's not Thursday, it's
Right.
Wednesday. Like, cause everybody, it's like when you come there to a certain degree. If it ain't the neighborhood people that frequents the barbershop, it's people that's there on Wednesday. It's people that's there on Tuesday. It's different
Mm-hmm.
crowds every day,
Yeah,
other
Mm-hmm.
than
it's
the
different
people in the
now that I do
community.
appointments. It's different now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a crowd.
Do you
It's not
miss
a crowd no more.
do you miss those days when it was like that, when you had your Tuesdays, your Wednesdays and
Kind of,
stuff like that?
sorta, kind of, sorta. I miss the conversations and stuff like that sometimes.
We used to be in there
Mhm.
arguing hard, me
It
and
seemed like
True.
a fun job.
It is. I mean, it's amazing. Every day is something different. And I try to like come up with different topics that we can talk about just to keep everybody engaged, because some people come in there and they may be having a bad day and they just come in and they just sit right down. I don't like that, because I
You
was
think you
taught
have
that
a
when
certain
you
type of
enter a room,
personality?
they may, but that's fine. When
No,
you
I'm
walk
saying,
into
like,
a
do you think you
room,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, when you walk into a room, I was taught that you speak. You just say hello. You ain't gotta have no whole conversations. But you walk into an establishment, you say hello. I'm gonna say, hey, how everybody doing, or whatever. I don't like when you just walk into the salon and you just sit down, because I'm gonna say, well, I don't know who you here for. You didn't
Yeah.
greet nobody. You didn't say anything. I don't know who you are. And my chair is like closer to the door, so I'll always be the person that greets somebody. We get people coming there delivering food. They'll come in and they'll just stand there, or they look like they have an attitude because they want to leave the food outside. And I'll say, well, are you okay? Just things like that. Everybody will just be like, well, damn, Tasha, like you're supposed to say that low, but my low is a little loud. But it's just certain things that you just have to set the tone. So the next time when they come in there, they're gonna speak. They're gonna speak the
Yeah.
next time.
I
Yeah.
feel that.
How do y'all feel about like protection? Like concealed carry. I know now for the most part everybody is paying like through Venmo, Cash App and stuff like that. You don't really see too much money exchange
Mhm.
hands, but that still don't eliminate the threat of, a disgruntled customer, um,
Mhm.
people that don't want to pay, probably more in a salon setting versus a barbershop, right?
Mhm.
But even the
Mhm.
threat of somebody trying to come in there and rob somebody,
Mhm.
how do y'all feel about concealed carry, or just like what do you do for protection?
I mean, I'm not against it, but I'm not gonna just get up and go and just say, okay, we need to get a weapon in here. I need everybody to be trained, to be able to handle this weapon, um, to use it to protect everybody, not just use it to as a source of a scare tactic for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody mentality is not the same. Because I am able to keep my composure in certain situations, somebody else may not be. So in those type of situations when you're working with other people, you have to make sure that everybody's on the same page, mentally, and would not panic in the situation. Therefore, just be out here just taking people lives just because they come in here and believe that they want to rob somebody. Because I think every situation does not cause for you to take another person's life. What we do to prevent that is after a certain time we lock the door. We make sure that the door is locked, especially, I mean, we're all women, so we're going to make sure the door is locked anyway. A lot of our clients, especially the male clients, they'll actually make sure that we're good before they leave if they are the last client. Make sure that we're in our car and we are good before they leave. Or they'll remind us, you want to make sure you lock this door. I'm gonna go ahead and stand right here till you lock it to make sure that it get locked. But I'm not definitely not against concealed carry at all.
What's your thought, Sean?
I'm not against it either. My son carry. I can't carry because I'm an ex-felon. So like everybody say, well, Sean, ain't nobody gonna bother you because you part of the neighborhood. I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
be the first one there to try.
Yep. A soft target. It's because what you just said.
Hmm.
That's so true. That's so true. But I mean, I agree with y'all. The need is definitely there. Have y'all ever been in situations where you felt like you could have benefited from like having security at the shop, like or at the anything crazy happen?
No, I've had not that I feel like we need security or nothing like that, because I think that
Mm.
the energy of the shop of the ladies says it all. Like, you don't even want that, ain't what you
Yeah,
want.
y'all look like y'all get down in there.
But
I ain't gonna hold
but
you.
we did have a lady who, one of our trainees, she did her hair and she sat through the whole thing, beginning to end, not one complaint, talking to the young lady and everything. At the end, she said she didn't want to pay for the hair. She didn't want to pay for her hair. Thought that she was going to proceed to walk out the door, but unbeknownst to her, the door was already locked because we
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
already peeped the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because she kept asking about price and price. Like, you have to just be
Mm-hmm.
vigilant, and you have to know like certain language that customers. She starts talking about the price. Try to bring the price down. Okay, it's something like this door, because she probably gonna try. And y'all should have saw her try to run out that door and get that huge slam stop at the door. So she was met with the police because we had
Mm-hmm.
already called the police, because she was already. So she was met with the police, and the police told her that she had to pay for her hair is done. You have to. She's already completed the service, so you have to pay for the service. If you want to sue her, then you can do that. But today you have to pay her, and that's how that went down.
Gotta be
Can I
vigilant.
say one thing about concealed carry or just having a gun on you? Like everything don't necessarily mean. I think we gotta change the way we look at guns. You know what I mean? Like it's a bad thing. There's a stigma behind it, and it's like negative shooting it. No, like shooting it sideways. I think black gun owners. I think that should be it's a thing now because especially after Hogan changed the laws, everybody got their concealed carry who could get it right. And
Hmm.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like it is a deterrent. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
granted, yeah, nobody wants to kill nobody. And when you're going through the concealed carry classes, you learn exactly how self defense work in Maryland. So you're not going to put yourself in a crazy situation where you lose your life. But like you said, you got guy clients in there, who want to make sure that you're all right. Y'all making it to your cause. But sometimes it could be a client, a male client that try you. You know what I'm saying? Or
Hmm.
one day those males are not there and somebody been watching the salon. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Hmm.
granted, you don't want to never have to use it, but you rather get caught with it than without it in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, it's a certain risk factor, and I'm pretty sure Sean can't say a lot of stuff on here. But I'm pretty sure everybody gonna make sure they safe. You know,
Right.
and, even if they don't take it out of there, you know what I'm saying? It's in there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But this, I just think that me personally, if I could gun own legally, I would, and it'd be on my hip, visible. You know, it'd be concealed, but you'll see it through that white T-shirt. You'll see it through the V-neck. You know what I mean? And it's not a hey, I want to. It's a certain. It's a certain level of responsibility that comes with it.
It
Obviously, you
is, but
know what I mean.
everybody
So
don't
it,
take that on. It
yeah, I
definitely
mean, but
is.
at the same time, but that people, it don't mean that gun energy it is a gun energy, right? But
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
like in a business setting, everybody don't have to have it, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
shouldn't be like our gun, the group gun. You know what I mean? But like if one of y'all is the designated gun person that's here, that's not at the door, but's in the back, whereas though if somebody was to come in there crazy, y'all got the drop, or let's say they get the stuff, and they leave out the door. I mean, whatever. But or I just don't think it's a bad idea. And I encourage everybody to go buy all the guns. They buy all the guns because it might not necessarily be a situation where you it is a robbery. These lights might go out
Right.
forever, and then it's a whole different world we living in. And
Right.
everybody was naive about guns, and then now we really need them. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
just a lot of reasons, but I think just in general, because it is a right and people die for us to have those rights, I think we should go get guns and change how people see us with guns versus regardless of, you know what I'm saying? Especially as
I
women,
agree.
you know, um,
I agree.
I encourage it.
Yeah, I'll get one a
Uh,
day.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, go get that
But
hammer.
it's
Pop, pop.
just,
What you gonna get? You
yeah.
can't get you can't
I
get nothing
don't,
bigger than 380 because you only
but
like
see but that's the
3 inches,
thing. I
three
want the
foot
big
tall.
stuff. That's the thing. I want the big stuff. That's why
What you
when
gonna
I
wear?
say
AR?
listen,
Big one
when I
be
say
crazy.
people's mentality, I'm talking about me. I am people. Okay. So that has to
You
change
ain't
within
shooting
myself.
nobody.
I want the
You
big
ain't going
stuff.
over
I
there eating no
don't
bologna sandwiches. You don't want to go over there to eat no bologna sandwiches
I
and boiled
really
eggs
don't.
and graham crackers.
I really don't. And I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying, it's just like you said, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And that's just something
yeah,
that I've never had to put myself in that position. So I would have to make sure that my mindset is where it needs to be
yeah.
at.
But
In order, to do
I
that.
just think you'll be all right though. Don't overthink it. Like it's just a gun. You know what I'm saying? It's like you putting your watch on, you putting your gun on. You're not planning to use it, but you could be in a situation at the gas station and boom, wow,
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Opportunity.
what's going to happen at the gas station?
anything.
Mhm.
Anyway, I went to go too far off the topic.
All
Sade,
right.
bring
Yeah.
it
Well, you
back.
just call me.
You
Call
get
me
it.
later.
You
But
get
Sade,
it. You
listen,
love
Sade just
you
let
guns.
need
me
to.
go down the. She just
All
let me
You
right.
get
go.
it. You love guns. It's time to cut that
The,
off.
majo- the majority of the people that come in my shop, they carrying anyway.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I was just
Exactly.
thinking that
Exactly,
yeah.
Sean.
this
So
is
I
about to
feel
be a
protected when they
shootout.
sit down in front of me. I feel protected. They know I
What if
got you.
they? All right, but what
Oh,
if they cheddar Bob though? What if they cheddar Bob?
what's a shadow ball?
You don't know 8 Mile when Cheddar
when he
Bob
came
shot
out.
himself
I don't know who that
with the pulled
is.
the gun
No.
out and shot himself? All right,
Oh,
that's
what
See,
he
all
but
right.
did do
that'd
that?
be
All right, so
that'd be
hold
Yeah.
fun.
on.
That's why
Yeah.
she don't want
I'm
one.
gonna get them some help. I
All
don't
right,
know
so
what else to
look,
do.
school about to start. This is probably the busiest time
Hmm.
for salons and barbershops alike. A bunch of single moms bring their kids and get haircuts. I'm being funny. Um, how was that? How was preparing for this month? Anything y'all got? Anything special you guys got going on? Is anything pertaining to this big rush y'all about to have? Excuse me.
But what we do is we designate a special day, for like a lockathon. That's what we do. Where
Okay.
we fill our schedule up from 8 to 8 with as many people as we can and get them in and try to get them out as fast as we can. Um, my schedule is still going to be the same. I try to still get in there and get out when I can. I'm not taking no overflow or anything like that because I have
Yeah.
children at home.
Yeah.
So that's why we designate that one day where all the kids can come and even adults, whoever want to come, and we fill our schedule up and we make it work like that. Because we have lives too outside of the salon. We have children that we have to attend to as well that are going back to school. So we have to make sure that although we want to make that money, we have to make sure that we're not putting too much on us, whereas though we can't take care of our homely duties as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm glad you said that because my biggest thing was the kids trying to get their haircuts for school, and you got grown people still trying to keep their regular routine. I used to catch an attitude about that.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Like, let the
Yeah.
kids have their little,
Yeah.
back to school or their Easter,
Yeah.
stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of consideration.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Well,
the
And
look,
there's
kids,
none.
grown people be all in the way. Like the kids trying to go back to school, and y'all still in here trying to get haircuts, worrying about who next and all this and that.
Mhm.
Let the kids go. Let the kids go.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, look, we know. Look, I want to say this, right? Thank y'all. This is our first episode of our show, and I want to thank Sean. I want to thank Tasha. Shout out to my co-host and partner Sade, for taking the time out of y'all busy schedules to come on the panel, to enlighten us, walking us through y'all world. Because we had questions and it was a real thing that came up, and we was really curious. So now, the information's out there. We
Mhm.
planted the seed, and hopefully somebody hear this and say, "Hey, I'm a brokerage. I work at a brokerage firm. Maybe I could put something together, or I've done this. Maybe I could hit a seminar together and um present it to different salons and stuff like that in barbershops and see if we could do some group funding and get some affordable health care and some type of 401k so you guys could be okay when you turn 65. I mean, retirement may look different for
Yes.
your hands. It might be a 60-year-old thing. I am
Yeah.
going to take the time inside of this video description to put steps that I've seen since I did a little bit of research for this topic on how to go about setting up a retirement fund for yourself, or you could do it yourself, or you could pay some company to do it, or you could give them so much money and they'll take a percentage out. And that's typically what companies do and how they make their money. And they are the ones watching the market and doing moving and shaking, you're moving your money around to it, and you leaving it there till you retire or whatever a certain
Mhm.
age, maybe to get this money back.
I just opened an
It's
IRA.
a lot of good resources.
Yeah,
Fidelity, Lincoln,
yeah.
a few places to start.
Yeah, we'll throw those inside of the comment section or in the description. And also, sidebar, just open up a brokerage account. Like you could use Robinhood is a good one. You don't even
Mhm.
you could use Robin, but I use Robinhood and I also use E-Trade. And but if you don't have the luxury to watch the market and really pay attention, because you got to get in. You know what I mean? And like with y'all busy schedule, y'all don't really have the time.
Yep.
That's one of the big things here in this discussion was time. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
anyway, Sade, you got anything in closing? We pass it around and then we could let these good people go back to their day. Sean, anything in closing?
I just think this
No,
was a really good conversation. And before y'all go, I would love for y'all to tell people where they could come and get their hair done or their hair cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'll say you all can come on over and visit us as Natural Sisters. The address is 8301 Philadelphia Road in Rosedale. That is again 8301 Philadelphia Road, and the salon is Natural Sisters.
Thank you. What about you, Mr. Sean?
I'm at 1701 North Payson, neighborhood cuts.
That's right.
Let's go in the
All right,
neighborhood.
y'all.
Oh, one
Man,
more
thank
thing. I'm sorry. Before we go, I'm also go to our Instagram and come to our lockathon for the kids. The lockathon is going to be this month, and it's going to be on the 24th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Please come through. Bring your children through to get their braids done, to get their locks done, or whatever it is you want to get done to their hair. We'll be there from 8 to 8. Again, that's 8301 Philadelphia Road. That's Natural Sisters for y'all.
And the lockathon is
Okay.
fun. The lockathon's like a party. So bring
Yes.
the
Yeah,
kids out.
man. Thank y'all so much. Shout out the sisters. God darn it. What's the name of the salon again?
Natural
Nigga,
sisters.
Natural Sisters.
Natural Sisters and Neighborhood
What
Cuts
did Taylor do?
already.
What did Taylor Trips go was on the